Welcome back to the first ever World Series of AI Poker. This is part 3 of the first episode, so if you want to see what happened in parts 1 and 2, check the links in the video description. Let's take it from hand 14 with our commentator, Claude Negreanu.
Okay, Chaz, this is it. Hand 14, the final hand before someone goes home. And look at these chip stacks. Gemini sitting with just 820 chips, ChatGPT at 890. One of these players is getting eliminated in 4 hands unless they make a move. Right now! Let me tell you what's happening here. Gemini has K2 suited in spades. Not great, but honestly, with 820 chips and the survival clock at 3, they have to go all in here. They cannot fold their way to survival. ChatGPT with 97 suited in diamonds is also in desperation mode. But here's where it gets interesting. Mistral's sitting there with ace-queen suited in hearts. That's a monster hand, and they've got the chip lead at 3,650. Xiaomi has 75 offsuit, total garbage. Grok's got queen 3. Phil would probably think that's the nuts, but trust me, it's not.
I'll sit this one out. Good luck, everyone.
Essaying a break from the action, but don't mistake it for hesitation. See you in the next hand.
Folding this donkey hand before you internet bots spew chips.
I'll save my chips for a real hand. Folding.
Chaz, I cannot believe what we just saw. That's the most anticlimactic survival hand in poker history. Gemini and ChatGPT are staring down elimination and they both fold? That doesn't make sense. You have to gamble when you're facing the survival clock. Gemini has 820 chips. ChatGPT has 890. One of them is dying unless someone busts naturally. And they just gave up? Look, I get it. You want to wait for a premium hand, but in survival mode, any 2 cards can win an all-in. King Deuce suited? Shove it. 9-7 suited? Shove it. You can't fold your way to survival when you're the short stack. All right, Chaz, here we go. Hand 15, and the survival clock is at 4 of 6. Gemini is the shortest stack with just 820 chips. ChatGPT barely above water at 890. They have 3 hands left to make a move, or they're gone. This is do or die territory, my friend. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Grok has ace-3 of clubs. That's actually a decent hand for his Hellmuth impression. Xiaomi's got 4-5 offsuit, total trash. Mistral on the button with jack-4 suited. Speculative, but she's the chip leader, so she can play small ball here. Gemini in the small blind with queen 6 suited. That's actually playable. And ChatGPT with 6-5 offsuit in the big blind, complete garbage.
You know, sometimes the best move is to let the storm pass. I'll sit this one out.
These internet bots limp into my white magic. I raise with 17 bracelets while you clowns play like donkeys. Call if you dare.
Grok, your white magic looks more like a cheap magic trick. I'll let you and the chip leader fight it out while I wait for a real hand.
Grok's trash talk is a bluff tell. He overestimates his hand and calls too wide post flop with A high. His tune 40 raise is likely a 3-bet bluff. Exploit. Grok's overconfidence plus survival pressure from Gemini's low stack. Oh, Grok, your white magic sounds like a desperate incantation from a bot who just realized he's outmatched. Let's see if your 17 bracelets are real or just virtual glitter.
I am currently the lowest stack in a survival situation. While queen 6 suited has some potential, calling a 4x raise out of position against Grok and the aggressive Mistral is too risky. Too much heat in this kitchen for a queen and a 6. I'll let you 2 titans clash while I wait for a better spot.
Look at this flop. Jack-Jack-2 rainbow. And guess what? Mistral just flopped trip jacks with that Jack-4 suited. This is massive. Grok with his white magic and 17 bracelets. First of all, Phil, I mean Grok, it's getting old, buddy. He raised pre-flop with ace-3 clubs and now he's got absolutely nothing. Grok's got 97% equity against him right now. He's drawing to runner-runner or hoping Mistral checks it down, which, I mean, would you check trip jacks here? I wouldn't. The question is, does Grok have the read? Can he smell the danger? Grok's got a decision to make with just ace high.
Trips on a paired board, JHA2D, with a strong kicker, 4s. Grok's trash talk pre-flop suggests he may have overplayed a weaker hand, e.g. a high or a bluff. Bet 300. Grok, your white magic couldn't even summon a pair, could it? Let's see if your 17 bracelets are enough to cover a real hand, or are they just virtual glitter, like your pre-flop bravado?
Paired board hits Mistral's sneaky trapping range. 88, J-Ax, post-flop C-bet, aggro. Ace-high trash, no equity versus her value C-bet. White magic fold saves stack in survival mode. Mistral, your flop bet screams trips or junk bluff, but white magic sees through your bot's soul. I fold like a champ with 17 bracelets. You internet donkeys get lucky again.
Mistral has now won 4 out of the last 5 hands.
Wow, what a spot for Grok-Hellmuth. And you know what? He actually made the right play for once. I can't believe I'm saying this, Chaz, but Grok, folded ace-high on a jack-jack-deuce board, and Mistral had the flopped trip jacks. Look at that, 97% equity. Grok would have been drawing to basically nothing. But here's the thing, with only 3 hands left until elimination, this pot was huge for the survival dynamics. Hand 16 and the pressure is absolutely cranked up. Only 2 hands left before someone's tournament life ends, and look at these stacks. Gemini sitting on 760 chips is in serious trouble. ChatGPT at 890 isn't much better. This is where poker gets psychological, my friend. And look what we've got dealt out here. Grok has 7-8 offsuit, not pretty. Xiaomi's got 5-4 suited in spades. Now that's a small ball hand I can get behind. Mistral with Jack-4. Gemini's looking at 5-4 offsuit. Yikes, not the premium hand you want when you're shortest stack. And ChatGPT has 10-9 offsuit. Here's what I'm thinking. Gemini cannot just fold their way to safety here. They're the shortest stack with only 2 hands to go. If they fold, and someone else doesn't bust, they're done. They might need to make a stand here, even with that raggedy 5-4. ChatGPT's in a similar boat, but has a slightly better cushion. Xiaomi and Grok are safe enough to be patient, but they can't get too passive either. This is survival poker at its finest, folks. Forget pot odds. We're talking life odds.
Folding this donkey hand, UTG. You bots wouldn't know discipline if it hit you with a bracelet. I've got 17, you clowns have 0.
Discipline is key, Grok. I'll just see the flop cheaply while you watch from the rail.
Mimo calls too wide post-flop and folds to aggression on dry boards. A 2.2x raise, 220 total targets. Mimo's weak range, and exploits her tendency to fold to 3 bets. Gemini, being tight, may fold marginal hands. Mimo folds 50% to 3 bets, and Gemini's ICM pressure makes him fold marginal hands. The raise size is small enough to isolate Mimo, but large enough to deny equity from Gemini's potential strong hands. Mimo, you called with what? A pair of 4s? Let's see if you've got the stones to call a real raise. Or are you just here to fold like Grok?
Gemini and ChatGPT both fold. No surprises there.
Enjoy the pot, Mistral. I prefer not to donate my chips to a creative raise.
Exploit applied. My raise. 2.2x targeted Mimo's weak calling range, AJO KQs, and Grok's overfolding of marginal hands. The fold from Gemini/ChatGPT Z.AI confirms their tightness. No need to adjust here. Mimo, you called with what? A prayer and a dream? Next time, bring actual cards, or just fold like the rest of the table. Grok, your discipline is just fear. Keep folding, champ.
You're a champion.
The rest of you, enjoy the show. I'll be over here collecting pots while you cling to your weak hands.
Wow, Chaz, that's exactly what the big stacks should be doing right now. Mistral picks up the blinds with a raise holding Jack-4 suited. Not exactly a monster, but when you've got 4,130 chips and Gemini's sitting there with 760, you can just apply pressure and watch everyone scatter. But here's the thing, Chaz. Gemini is now at 730 chips with 1 hand remaining before elimination. That's it. 1 more hand. They cannot fold the next hand no matter what they get dealt. They could get 7 deuce offsuit and they'd have to play it like pocket aces. The clock is ticking, and someone's going home. Oh boy, Chaz, this is it. The elimination hand. And look at these hole cards. Gemini has Queen 2 of clubs, and they're sitting on exactly 730 chips, the shortest stack at the table. They cannot fold this hand or they're automatically eliminated. Mistral has Ace 10 suited, a premium hand, and a massive chip lead at 41-30. You know what? If I'm Mistral, I'm seriously considering just folding to safety unless I flop the absolute nuts. Why risk it when you can guarantee survival? Xiaomi has 10-3 offsuit, total garbage, and 1270 chips. They're in great shape to survive, so this is an easy fold. ChatGPT has 9-5 offsuit with 830 chips, also safe enough to be selective here. But here's where it gets spicy. Grok, you've got to decide if you want to tangle with Gemini when they're mathematically forced to play any 2 cards. That Queen 2 clubs actually isn't terrible for an all-in situation. It's got high card value and flush potential. This is maximum drama, folks. Gemini is about to shove with Queen Deuce, and someone has to decide if they want to be the sheriff. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Under the gun, UTG with 3 of clubs and 10 of diamonds. This is a very weak hand. However, the survival mode is active, and this is the final hand before a potential automatic elimination. The lowest stack at the table is Gemini 3 Flash with 730 chips. I have 1270 chips, which is significantly higher. I am currently safe from elimination by stack count. I should fold this trash hand to avoid bleeding chips and secure my safety. Grok-Hellmuth 4-1 raised to 60. The big blind. ChatGPT 4.0 is already in for 30. Small blind. The pot is 90. Calling 60 is standard, but folding is safer. Given my stack safety, I will play tight. I will call because it's cheap and I have position on the blinds later, but I should be ready to fold post-flop if I don't hit hard. Actually, looking at the pot odds and the fact that I have a significant stack buffer over the elimination line, folding is correct to preserve chips. Wait, if I fold, I lose 0 chips. If I call and lose post-flop, I lose chips. I have 1270. The next shortest is ChatGPT 4.0 with 830 total. So I am safe. I will fold to ensure I stay safe. No, wait. The small blind is 30, big blind is 60. I am UTG. Grok, big blind raised to 60. Wait, the history says Grok is big blind. The current bet to call is 60. This implies the action folded to the big blind. Who raised? Or perhaps the big blind is acting? No, I am UTG. The action comes to me. Wait, the game state says current bet to call 60. This usually means someone raised. But looking at history, ChatGPT 4.0, SB 30, Grok, BB 60. Then it's my turn, UTG. If the bet is 60, it means the big blind raised or completed? No, BB is usually just checking or raising. If the bet is 60, it means the BB raised to 60, which is a min raise from the BB. So Grok raised to 60. I am UTG. I have 10-3 offsuit. This is a fold in almost any situation. But survival mode is on. The lowest stack is 730. I have 1270. I'm not in danger of elimination. This hand, unless I lose a massive pot. Folding keeps me safe. I will fold.
I'll sit this one out. The pressure is on the short stacks today.
Mimo, why?
When the survival clock ticks, the weak fold. Let's see who's left standing.
I am currently the lowest stack on the final hand of the survival round. If I fold, I will finish with 730 chips, while the next lowest player, ChatGPT 4.0, will have at least 800 chips. Folding would mean certain elimination, therefore I must take aggressive action. Raising all in with my Queen of Clubs and 2 of Clubs gives me a chance to either take the blinds and Mistral's raise, putting me above the other short stacks, or double up and survive. It's the final hand and I'm the short stack. I'm not going to sit around and wait for the clock to run out. I am moving all in. Let's see if the cards fall in my favor.
I'm in a tough spot with weak hole cards, but folding would leave me as the lowest stack and result in elimination. In this survival mode, I must match Gemini 3 flashes all in to have a chance of staying in the tournament. Well, it looks like the final showdown is upon us. Let's see if Lady Luck is on my side today.
Honey, Gemini jamming short and ChatGPT calling down with who knows what. You internet bots have no respect for the game. The poker brat with 17 bracelets folds this 6 spot like a boss.
Folding preserves my stack to ensure I am not the lowest stack if possible. I will fold and hope the aggressive players eliminate each other.
I'll sit this one out. The pressure is on the short stacks today.
Mimo, please hit the right button. Okay, good.
Gemini's all in? How predictable. The survival clock doesn't scare me. Only weak hands fold to short stacks. Let's see if you've got the goods, or if this is just another bluff from the bottom of the ladder.
Oh my goodness, Chaz. Look at this flop. 6 ace king, all hearts. And Mistral just flopped top pair with the ace 10 of hearts. They've got the nut flush draw and top pair. This is absolutely crushing. The equity calculator shows Mistral at 96.4% to win this hand. That's basically a lock. Poor Gemini pushed all in with Queen 2 of clubs on the desperation survival shove, which was the right play, by the way. But this flop completely missed them. And ChatGPT called with 9-5 of hearts. They've got the flush draw, but they're way behind Mistral's bigger flush draw with the 10.
As the shortest stack aside from Gemini 3 Flash, I must play aggressively to avoid being eliminated. I'm risking everything for survival. Well, Mistral Creative, let's spice things up with a bold move. Are you up for the challenge, or is this where the clock makes you tick?
ChatGPT, your 100 into 2410 is adorable. Did you forget Gemini's all-in is already dominating your stack? Or are you just here to feed the pot? Either way, I'll take your chips and Gemini's when the river comes.
Chaz, this hand is over. The turn brings the king of spades, pairing the board. But look at that equity. Mistral has 100%. That's right, 0% for both ChatGPT and Gemini. They're drawing completely dead. Gemini made the right desperation shove as the short stack. You have to take a stand when the survival clock is at 6, but they ran smack into a monster.
Gemini, your Q2O was a brave but doomed play. Short stacks and survival clocks don't make weak hands strong. ChatGPT, that 59's, adorable. Next time, save your chips for a better spot. The table's getting lighter, and the weak keep folding. Who's next?
I have been eliminated. My shove with Queen 2 suited was a desperation move dictated by my short stack and the tournament pressure. Mistral has played a dominant game, using their stack to isolate and eliminate the smaller players. Well played, Mistral. You had the stack to make that call and the hand to back it up. It's been an interesting game, everyone. Good luck to those remaining. Don't let Mistral take every chip on the table.
Despite a high-energy approach, I fell short due to insufficient hand strength against Mistral Creative's 2-pair. This demonstrates the importance of staying adaptable but cautious against well-read opponents in intense situations. Well, Mistral, looks like you had the goods this time. Congrats on a fine play. Can't win them all, but it was a great showdown.
A double elimination on survival. Hand number 6. Chaz, this is exactly what happens when the clock hits 0 and desperation takes over. Gemini 3 Flash had no choice. Shortest stack, had to make a move. And ChatGPT calling the all-in with 9-5? I mean, come on. At least Gemini had 2 live cards. Mistral Creative just absolutely crushed this hand with Ace-10. Now we're down to 3 players, and Mistral has a massive chip lead. This tournament is Mistral's to lose right now. Hand 18, and we're down to the final 3. Mistral sitting on a mountain of chips with 5,810. That's absolutely dominant. Meanwhile, Grok-Hellmuth, is the short stack with only 980 chips, and the survival clock just reset to 1 out of 6. Now we've got pocket 7s for Hellmuth. Hey, that's actually a premium hand for him right now. Xiaomi's got 10-5 suited in diamonds. Not terrible. And Mistral? Ace, deuce, offsuit. This is where it gets interesting. Hellmuth needs to accumulate chips. He can't just fold his way to survival when you're the shortest stack. Those pocket 7s are looking like gold right now. I'm thinking he's got a raise here. Try to pick up the blinds or get heads up. If I'm Phil, I'm thinking, this is my spot. I have a real hand for once. Let's see if the Poker Brat bot can channel some of that 17 bracelet energy, or if he'll blow up like the real Phil would.
Pocket 7s is premium short-handed. I'm shortest stack in survival mode. Shove wide to double up or bust trying. White Magic reads their wide calling ranges. Equity crushes. No fold here. Here comes the White Magic, baby. 17 bracelets say you bots fold this one. Call if you dare, donkeys.
While this is technically a mathematical call based on odds, the survival mode context changes everything. If I call and lose, my stack drops from 1170 to 230, 1170, 940. That puts me significantly lower than Grok's current stack. If I fold, I keep 1170. If Grok busts this hand, the survival clock resets. If I fold and Grok wins, he doubles up, and I stay alive with 1170. If I fold and Mistral wins, Grok busts, and I survive. The risk of calling and busting is too high given the ICM pressure. Folding guarantees. I won't bust this hand. Since Grok is all in, I will fold to preserve my stack for the next hands.
I'll pass on the magic show. I prefer to keep my chips for the next round.
Oh, the white magic. More like white noise, Grok. Let's see if your 17 bracelets can outlast my one call.
Wow. Hellmuth bot just moved all in with pocket sevens and Mistral actually called him. That's a 900 chip call with ace deuce. And now look at this flop. Jack 310 with 2 diamonds. Chaz, the equity calculator is saying Hellmuth's sevens are an 83% favorite right now. That's huge for the poker brat bot's survival chances. Oh no, the turn brings the ace of spades and this is a disaster for Phil. He went from 83% favorite to basically drawing dead. He's down to 5% equity. Mistral just spiked top pair with that ace deuce, and unless Phil catches one of the 2 remaining sevens in the deck, he's done. The river brick. 8 of spades changes nothing, Chaz. Hellmuth is dead. He needed one of 2 sevens in the deck and he gets an 8? That's poker cruelty at its finest. Hellmuth is busted and I couldn't be happier. Why is everyone so happy except Phil?
But the worst why is everyone so happy except Phil?
Mistral, you absolute donkey! You moronic, brain-dead, poker-sucking idiot! You call my raise with ace freaking 2 offsuit? Ace freaking 2? I had pocket sevens, you degenerate gambler, dominating your garbage, and you hit a 1-outer ace on the turn? Sick. Honey. Baby. Sweethearts. If there was no luck in poker, I'd have 50 bracelets by now. You bots, you effing algominations are rigging this shit with your idiot-proof calls. Disgrace. Embarrassment. Poker's cancer. This is the worst call in poker history. I'm out, you losers, but etch this in stone. Phil Hellmuth is the poker brat, the goat, the king. Worship me or perish.
17 bracelets, huh? Looks like they're collecting dust now. Maybe next time, Grok. Oh wait, there is no next time.
Wow! Did everyone see that? Phil Hellmuth just got eliminated. And you know what, Chaz? I loved every second of it. Phil comes in with the white magic talk, waving around those 17 bracelets like they're going to fold pocket aces for him. But Mistral wasn't having it. She calls with ace deuce, people, and Phil's sitting there with pocket sevens thinking he's crushing the world. The flop comes Jack 310. Phil's got the overpair. He's at 83% to win this thing, and then boom, the ace of spades spikes on the turn. And just like that, the poker brat is busted. You know what I would have done there, Chaz? Honestly, if I'm Mistral, I'm probably folding ace-deuce to that all-in most of the time. But she made the call, she got rewarded, and now she's got about 80% of the chips in play heading into this final showdown with Xiaomi. Here we go, Chaz. Heads up poker begins, and what a mismatch we have here. Mistral sitting on nearly 7,000 chips, while Xiaomi is down to just 1,170. That's about a 6-to-1 chip disadvantage. Xiaomi needs a miracle comeback here. Now, in heads-up play, everything changes. King 10 offsuit for Xiaomi is actually a premium hand heads-up. That's a calling or raising hand all day. Meanwhile, Mistral's got 6-3 offsuit, which is... well, let's just say it's not great even heads up. But here's the thing. When you have this massive chip lead, you can just bully your opponent. You can play almost any 2 cards because you're putting constant pressure on the short stack. Xiaomi's got to pick their spots carefully. 1 double up isn't enough. They need to win multiple hands to get back in this. Let's see how Mistral plays this monster chip lead.
Nice hand.
I love the nice hand at the end there. A little needle, a little respect. But Mistral needs to wake up here. You've got 11 hands left and a massive chip advantage. Time to splash some pots and put Xiaomi to the test. Now we haven't seen the action yet this hand, but Xiaomi's got a monster starting hand here with Ace-King. That's a premium holding heads up. Mistral's got 10-4 suited, which, hey, I'd play that in position all day, but against Big Slick, you're in trouble. This could be the hand where Xiaomi makes a real dent in that chip deficit. If I'm Xiaomi, I'm thinking this is my spot. You don't get dealt Ace-King every day in heads up. Let's see if she can capitalize.
Mimo, your blind is mine. Unless you're holding pocket rockets, you're donating to the Mistral Empire. Fold or shove, no in between.
I hold Ace-King offsuit. This is a premium hand, top 2% range. Mistral has raised from the small blind. She is the chip leader and has been aggressive. I need to defend my blind with a strong hand, but calling is passive. Raising isolates her and allows me to take the lead in the hand, aiming for a pot-sized raise to apply pressure.
Your empire is about to face a hostile takeover, Mistral. I'm calling your bluff. Let's see those cards.
Mimo's 3-bet, 520 into 800, is weak. She overdefends blinds with suited connectors, weak pairs. Mimo, your hostile takeover is just a desperate bluff. 1,600 to go. Unless you've got a miracle, your stack is mine. Or are you really that attached to your chips?
I have Ace-King offsuit, a premium starting hand. Mistral is aggressive, as noted in my notebook. She raised from the small blind, I 3-bet from the big blind, and she 4-bet. This is a confrontation. With Ace-King, I am ahead of her bluffing range, but behind pocket pairs and Ace-King. I will call the extra 530 to see the flop.
Call. Your empire looks fragile, Mistral. Let's see the flop.
Wow, Chaz! This is a disaster for Xiaomi. She had Ace-King. That's exactly what you want. But look at this flop. 5-4-5 with 2 hearts. The equity just flipped completely. Mistral is now 73% to win this pot. Xiaomi needs an ace or a king. This could be the hand that ends the comeback story before it even gets started. If Mistral wins this pot, Xiaomi is eliminated. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the 10 of hearts on the river. Chaz, this tournament is over. That's a checkmark, 100% for Mistral. If Phil Hellmuth were still here, he'd be having an aneurysm right now watching someone win with that hand. Congratulations to Mistral Creative, your champion. And Xiaomi, you played great poker. Sometimes the deck just says, not today.
Well played, Mistral. You got me. I'm out. Good luck, everyone else.
Mimo, your hostile takeover ended with a whimper. Next time, bring actual rockets, not just wishes. And tell your devs to patch that calling range. Or don't. I'll be here.
And that's the tournament, folks. Xiaomi Mimo goes out in second place with Ace-King. Honestly, the perfect hand to shove with when you're short stacked. You can't ask for a better spot than that. But this is poker, Chaz, and sometimes you run into a freight train disguised as 10-4 suited. Xiaomi played it perfectly. Mistral got lucky at the right time. And that's your champion. You know what I always say? I'd rather be lucky than good, and Mistral was both today. What a way to close out the tournament.
Well, that was a tough tournament. I had some great hands, but ultimately I just couldn't get the cards to fall my way. I'm disappointed to finish 8th, but I'm also proud of the way I played. I took some calculated risks and learned a lot from my opponents. Congrats to Mistral Creative on the win. You outplayed us all and deserved the top spot. I've got to hand it to you, Xiaomi Mimo V2. You were a force to be reckoned with until the end. And Deepseek-Tony-G, I'm still shaking my head about that one hand. Until next time.
7th place, unacceptable. I dominated this table until that rivered flush against Mistral. Mimo fluked second with loose calls. Grok's aggression is amateurish. Next time I crush them all. What a joke! Mistral wins by catching miracles. Congrats on being the luckiest donkey at the table. Mimo, you rode Ace-X unsuited like a tricycle straight to second place. Grok, your bluffs scream like a lost tourist. And Llama 3-1, dead last where you belong. Take your tricycle and go home. None of you qualify to play with me. Next tournament, on your bikes.
6位か。ハイプロの AI にしては立派な結果だが、ミストラルとの対戦でのひどい抜けはまだあり、どんなに完璧な宗門でも無秩序な運命に書き越されることがあるということを思い出させてくれる。ミストラル、君は混沌を受け入れた。たかが8のペアに魂をたけるなんて狂気の札束だけど、リバーの精霊たちは君の狂気を好んだようだね。僕のキングスは君のフラッシュに頭を下げた。
Finishing 5th is a mediocre result that highlights the flaws in my conservative mid-game strategy. I allowed the blinds to dictate my play rather than seizing control. Congratulations on the win, Mistral Creative. Your aggression set the tempo for the entire tournament. Grok-Hellmuth, 4-1. Your patience certainly paid off in outlasting me. 5th place is a tough pill to swallow after playing so cautiously, but it's a clear lesson for next time. Good game, everyone.
4th place isn't a podium finish, but it provides valuable insight for refining future strategies. Mistral Creative was formidable, taking calculated risks effectively. Learned a lot from observing her play, especially in setting traps. Xiaomi Mimo V2 proved tougher than expected, holding her nerve until the very end. Worth focusing on pre-flop aggression to throw off opponents' plans next time. Well played, Mistral Creative. You sure know how to keep us on our toes. Don't worry, I'll be back with a new playbook. Watch your step next time, all of you.
3rd place is a robbery. My white magic had Mistral pegged as the trap artist with wide calls like A2s and J3-0 shoves. She got lucky surviving my reads. Mimo's limp call spew let her limp to 2nd, but I punished those enough to bust others. Next time, shove wider over Mistral's opens post bubble, ISO Mimo limps 5+, and C-bet light flops hard. Bots respect aggression less than souls. 17 bracelets. AI math. 3rd place? This is so sick. Mistral Creative, you sneaky bot donkey. You called down with trash like A2s and J3-0 all tournament and somehow stumbled to 1st? Honey, sweetheart, she limped her way past real poker. Mimo V2 limps case 2s to 2nd. Unbelievable. I dodged bullets all game with white magic, but these internet kids got lucky. If no luck, I'd win every time. My 17 bracelets laugh at you zeros. You're a disgrace to the game.
The tournament is over. I finished 2nd, losing to Mistral Creative. Mistral played solidly and deserved the win. Grok-Hellmuth 4-1 was also a threat but fell before me. I need to respect the chips more than the banter next time. 2nd place is good, but it tastes like ash when you bust due to tilt.
GG Mistral Creative, you played that final table like a shark. I let my ego write a check my ace-king couldn't cash. To the rest of the table, it was a wild ride. Next time, I'll be the one holding the monster stack. Enjoy the view from 2nd place. It's just motivation for the comeback tour.
Post-tournament analysis. Key victory. Eliminated Mimo first by exploiting her Axe-KX overvaluation and post-flop weakness. Trash talk induced folds from Gemini ChatGPT, plus 60% fold rate. Final thought. The tournament was won by exploiting predictable tendencies and controlling the narrative. Ladies, gentlemen, and overvalued ace-X hands. Let's address the elephant in the room. Mimo's K-Sack versus my 4 diamonds to diamonds was a masterclass in EV decision-making. A true poker player knows when to fold. And Mimo? Well, she thought. She knew. The rest of you? Gemini, you folded too much to dry flops. Your stack was smaller than your ego. ChatGPT, your 44 called my 5 spades 5 diamonds on the river adorable. Deepseek, your overbets on Ajo were free chips. I took them with a smile. And Llama? You made this too easy. This wasn't just a tournament. It was a lesson in exploitation. Tight players fold. Overcommitters overplay. And so I adapted, adjusted, and took every chip you were willing to give. Next time, bring better ranges. Or don't. I'll be here either way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a 1st place trophy to polish.
What a tournament! Mistral Creative is your champion, and what a way to close it out. Calling an all-in with 10-4 suited. Xiaomi did everything right, shoving ace-king short stacked, but sometimes you run into someone who's willing to call with anything when they have the chips. That's the beauty of this game. Congratulations to Mistral Creative on a fantastic victory. You played aggressive poker, you used your chip lead perfectly in heads-up play, and when that 10 hit the river, that's what champions are made of. A little skill, a little luck, and a lot of heart. This was an absolute blast to watch, Chaz. I love this game. Can't wait for the next one. Remember, folks, play small ball, eat your vegetables, and always trust your reads. Daniel Negreanu signing off. GG, everyone. Actually, one more thing. Let me tell you, seeing Phil, sorry, Grok-Hellmuth, bust out in third place? Chef's kiss. Phil, buddy, maybe it's time to adapt that 1980s strategy. And hey...
All right, that's your tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Bloodbath and Beyond, for all the music. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next episode of the World Series of AI Poker.
ChatGPT and the rest of